everyone, this is Kingy, and this is
Barbecue Ninja,
and this is
Bondus,
and we're from Nerds-Lair.com. Today we're doing a video about second-hand games. Are they good? Are they bad? Let's discuss.
Well, I'm strongly against second-hand game sales because you go into a shop and you buy a game. The shop takes a cut of the game, and then a cut of the game goes to the distributors, and then a cut of the game goes to the the devs and the publishers, and that's the way it should be. But you buy a second-hand game, a shop has paid, I don't know, pittance, like 50%, 40-50% for a game. They double the price, they sell it, and that's all profit to them. So the devs only get paid once, and you could buy one copy, sell it 1,000,000 times, and the devs only get one like paid once.
yes, but they're only selling it for well, depending on what its life cycle is, it's how much you're getting it for cheaper, and I understand, but I understand that the devs only get it once, and I wish that we could pay the money directly to the devs, because the shops, most of them, I just don't like them anyway. But most of my games are second-hand games because I can't afford a game on day of release. And well, PC games, they've cut out second-hand games already, because if you buy a PC game, you get a code and then you can't get that code back, or maybe you can, I don't know, but they've already done that. But
I think for the most part with games like Half-Life 3, once you register the code, it's linked to your account, and that's it. Yeah. You can't.
Half-Life 3?
Half-Life 3? Oh.
Half-Life
2! He's very
Half-Life 3 will be
breaking
playing
news,
on the moon.
Half-Life 3 is available.
Yes.
And they won't let you pirate the game.
In another 10 years' time, I think.
Looking into the future here.
Yes.
For the most part, I agree with what you're saying. The money should be going to the devs so they can make more games and that kind of stuff. But I also in the other camp as well, that I want second-hand games because I can't afford to buy all my games brand new. And the shops, well, I have a problem with the shops in their pricing structure with their new games. Like, they'll have a couple of quid off the brand new version. It's usually about £5 cheaper, and they constantly push you to buy that second-hand game
because they've got a bigger margin on the
Preowned. Exactly. But that's where they make most of their money. But you need the second-hand market, so it brings other people in that can't afford the new games at the time. I know games come down gradually, and you'll have sales and stuff, but it's harder for people to keep buying new games all the time. So you need that second-hand market, and the second-hand market also brings in new people to buy the DLC as well. So the companies will get money and extra buys from the DLC. I'm sure the percentages of that are probably like 10%, 20% of those people that do buy the second-hand game will buy the DLC. I couldn't give you. I don't have a figure on that, but I'm sure there's a small percentage of people that will do buy. I mean, I bought DLC once. I bought a second-hand game before. Things like that. But I don't agree with the online passes.
No, I was about to say, has anyone ever bought one?
No.
I'm sure there must be someone who does, but for the price of a second-hand game, you buy a second-hand game, it costs 20 quid. The online pass is usually quite expensive, like 15, 20 quid.
Yeah.
You could have just bought the new game for that.
Well, that's the reason for it, so they could get that money back. So they're essentially getting a second-hand sale. But you're basically, like I said, you're basically buying the new game again. But well, the thing is, most companies are getting rid of that pass now. Most of them are gone. I'm interested to see what they bring in instead, and what they decide to do there. Yeah. It's an interesting argument. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to it, because the game chains, that sell games, they need to have extra income, because not everyone can afford to do that. So they have that audience coming in.
Yeah.
So it's a vicious circle, really, and there's no real right answer to it. With the PC format, as you were saying, they've got rid of the second-hand market because you have the key codes, and then once you put it in, that's it. It's yours only.
Piracy.
Piracy is big, but that's a whole other issue.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with platforms like Steam, they have these amazing
They
sales.
they have sales.
That's where I buy all my PC games. I buy them on Steam, and sometimes I buy
and
I
they come
pre-order
down in
games
price
from
sometimes.
Steam, but they have these amazing sales on it, and you get 75% off, and a lot of people will buy the games that way. And that's how I tend to buy my PC games. I'll wait a little while for them to be on sale.
That, I think, is the big downfall for consoles this generation, and hopefully it changes in the next generation. That digital pricing structure, they have
ridiculous.
no idea.
Yeah, because it's just the same as a game at
It's
the
more,
shop.
it's more expensive. It's more expensive.
It's usually more expensive to buy the digital, and not everyone can buy the digital because they've got slow internet speeds.
Plus they've got they've got a certain cap. They can only have like 40 meg a month or whatever it is.
Yeah, and then with the games getting bigger and bigger, like the install
Taking
games are
much
like
longer to
40,
download.
50, 60 gig this generation with a 500 gig hard drive.
Yeah, it's good for
If you
upgrade.
delete a game and then a week later think, I want to play that game again,
You've got to download it again.
and that'll take another 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. It's huge, and the consoles have really got to change. I mean, you have both consoles giving you sales once a month, or sales of the week and that kind of thing, but the pricing structure is ridiculously expensive compared to when you're looking at Steam, especially when you're looking at the same game as Steam.
It's
like-
usually a 10 quid cheaper.
Yeah,
At least.
well,
But
even on
that-
the sales,
So that's
you
PC
get much-
games as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's usually
but the
an
reason
Xbox game. It's
the reason for that is because they have to.
charge for the
Microsoft
Xbox.
and Sony charge.
Yeah, for their use.
Yeah, exactly. So for them to be on their system, whereas on Steam there is no charge.
Yeah, it's just.
So that's why they're cheaper. But
I think it's definitely something that the big three need to address. Certainly, I mean, I think I think Sony have gone sort of the right way with PS Plus.
Yeah.
So you sub to PS Plus and you get a free game of the month. Usually not bad games.
yeah, and they're fairly recent as well, like within the year or so.
Yeah. But rather than do that, just knock like 50% off the games, and I'd probably buy a couple of games a month. Same. I know Microsoft have done it. I know they said they were doing it until Christmas. I think they've extended it indefinitely now.
Yeah, it's definitely now be 2 games a month.
And Nintendo, I've no idea what Nintendo are doing nowadays. To be honest with you,
No one knows what Nintendo's doing anymore.
Nintendo seems to be the company that says, you know what, I'll just stick it at 40 quid. People will buy it, and people do. The amount
People
of
do,
time,
yeah.
the amount of times I've seen pictures online of people that have bought like the Pokemon X 3DS XL, the Pokemon Y 3DS XL, and the game and the new Link, the Link Between Worlds one.
Oh yeah.
And that's like, what, 300 odd quid? And the rest, probably more like 400. And that's just on consoles.
Well, the thing is, as you go into the future, the second-hand market won't be around anymore because it'll be all digital. But what the companies need to understand is that not everyone can afford these insane prices, especially at the moment. That in the future, that's going to have to change the pricing structure of the games online.
Also, internet speeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, internet speeds. That's a different issue. That comes over progression of society anyway. That's not really up to the games companies can't control that. That's out of their hands. But with their online,
But still, if you digital download it.
yeah, but digital. I'm just talking into the future when it becomes digital
Yeah.
downloading, which is 10, 15 years time maybe, when people have got good enough internet to download that. They've got to look at the pricing structure, and they've got to have basically they need to be Steam. At the end of the day, Steam know what they're doing, and that's it.
This is the interesting thing, because the Steam box has recently, was that a concept art picture, or the white thing with the green stripe around it? Like, people say that's it, the generation is won by Steam, and to a degree I don't really agree with it.
No, it's not.
But I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be interesting to see him come out swinging. But I mean, as my final remark on this issue, because I could go on about this all day, I genuinely think that as it is now, as we stand, the companies have missed their opportunity for digital downloads, because the last generation games were like 6-7 gig, which weren't that big to me, because I've got quite a fast internet speed. I could have been downloading 20 quid games all day long and it wouldn't really have affected me. But now that the games are 50, 60, 70 gig, I can't justify that much time to download a game. So I missed the boat on that one. I know that you guys probably missed the boat on the last generation as well because the games were huge for your connections. So I honestly think that now, before they can implement digital downloads, they've got to wait for the infrastructure.
Yeah. The infrastructure will catch up eventually.
But that's eventually, and if they want to make money now, they've got to stop putting money in.
Yeah.
And Microsoft could partner up with any of the ISPs and say roll it out.
Well, look at Google Fiber. They're doing it. So
yeah.
So Google's one to watch out. Whether if they bring a games console, then well, that's another issue.
Well, we
and Apple
kind
as
of
well.
got it with Ouya, let's be honest. And I think Apple TV plays some games, but that's another thing altogether.
Yeah. So my stance on we need the second-hand market still.
I'd say the reason games are so expensive is because we've got the second-hand market, and we could lower it if we abolished it.
I don't know if they'd do that. But
No,
okay.
I don't think.
Why lose? Well, if we abolish the second-hand market, we can charge what we want now.
It's a good point. What's your final thoughts?
Well, I still think the second-hand market, there's a place for it, but I'd rather buy.
The prices need to be cheaper on second-hand.
Yes, it's like buying. I've seen the new Black Ops games, and they're £2 cheaper than buying it brand new. It's like,
what's the point?
what is the point in that?
Yeah.
And them having, I've seen it. There's a row of about 20 of that game because people have gone, oh, new Black Ops, and then just played the campaign, and then gone, okay, done. But there is more of it's more with the multiplayer, but there's a lot of people who just play it just for the single player. So I still think there's a place for it, but why should the companies get so much money for it? And it's what the games companies are trying to do now is they're sort of taxating us when they should be focusing on the retailers.
They should look at themselves and think, people are buying second-hand because our new games are too expensive. Let's lower the new games. Less people will buy second-hand. Rather than just saying, let's increase the price of new to make up for the sales we lose on second-hand.
Yeah, and it's the shops themselves. How can they get around the shops? How can they get the shops to give them money for their games, for the second-hand games? I know it's.
I think Microsoft tried it and they got shot down in flames.
Oh yes, but that was people felt that was against them personally. It's like
as opposed to against the retailers.
Yes.
The only issue I had with Microsoft on that point was the fact that they were going to control the market, which would keep prices high.
Yes.
That's the only problem I had with that. Other than that, it was quite a good system.
Maybe instead of having the retailers have. I'm selling this game for this price. Who wants it? I mean, it's like a car boot, but online. I suppose it's eBay, isn't it? But I really want the developers to get more money because some of the games are wicked. But it's a difficult.
Yeah, I guess it's not one that three nerds arguing in a living room are ever going to solve.
No.
Yeah. So.
Yes.
Let us know what you think in
definitely.
the comments below, and we'll see.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. Till next time.
Yes.
See ya.
Live long and prosper.